Hello everyone. So following my previous tutorials where I am taking a few mechanics from Super Mario and recreating them in Unreal, I'm going to create another mechanic, which is the power-up that makes the player bigger, and then after like a few seconds, he gets back to his original size. So let me just show you what's the end result in this tutorial, and then we'll just get into it. Okay, so this cube has the growing power, and when the player collects it, he gets bigger, and after like 3 seconds, gets back to his original size. Alright, so let's get started. So before we start, I just want to cover the main subjects that we're going to go over this tutorial. So in the blueprints, we're going to learn how to enable physics on other actors. We're going to use the set timer by event node, and we're going to learn about Lerp, the Lerp node. Specifically here, we're going to use it with vectors, but it can be used with integers, floats, etc. In the material graph, we're going to learn 3 new nodes: the Sine node, the Panner node, and the Lerp between colors. So we're going to change 3 different colors using these 3 nodes. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, if you've seen the previous tutorials, and also if not, I'll just tell you how it works. I created one blueprint that, depending on an enum, this one, I spawn different types of power-ups. So right now I only have 2, which is the heart and the coin, and those are here. The heart, and this is coin. Now I want to make this a growing power-up. So I need to add another value here to the enum. So let's just open our enum and add a value, and I'm going to call this grow. Let's get to our block type here, blueprint, and let's make this one a grow. So let's look at this blueprint, and as you can see, I have a enum variable called block type, which is public, so that's why I can see it here outside, and I can see the 3 values that I added. So this is going to be a grow power up. Now let's create the actual blueprint that we want to spawn. So let me just create a new folder for power ups, and let's create our power up. So this is going to be an actor, right? So create blueprint class actor, and I'm going to call it BP grow power up, PU for power up. Grow PU. Okay, let's get inside. There's nothing here, so we need to add a static mesh. This is going to be, actually, let's just add a sphere. And let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now I want to make a glowing material for this sphere. Actually, before that, let's just first spawn it and see how it works. Okay, so let's go to our blueprint that we want to hit, and when we hit, depending on which type of cube it is, we're going to spawn different power-ups. So let me get into the blueprint. This is our old code. This pathway creates the coin. This pathway generates hearts, and now we just want, as we added a value to this enum. Now we have another extra value here on our switch. So what do we do when we hit the cube and this is a grow cube, right? So we want to spawn actor from class, and the class is VP grow u. Okay. Spawn transform is like every other spawning that we did here. We need the location of the arrow. So we drag the arrow into the graph. I'm going to split the struct bin so I can see the 3 values of the transform. And let's get actor world location. Get world location. Now, if you want this to be straight, you just select the 2 nodes and you press on Q. Oh, wait, let me just enable the mouse buttons, the keyboard display buttons, so you can see what I'm pressing. So one moment, please. Okay, so you select the nodes that you want to be, the lines to be straight, and you press Q. Okay, just for visual purposes, of course. Let's drag this down here. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, it's spawning. But I want it to fall down when it spawns so I can pick it up, right? I don't want to just each time jump over the cube. It's a waste of time. So what do we need? What do we do to make that happen? Oops, sorry. Yeah, here. Okay, so first of all, our sphere, our static mesh, is not simulating physics. What do I mean by that? Of course, you know that Unreal is a physics engine, and you can display different types of, you can like copy different types of physics in the real world. Imitate, not copy, excuse me. Imitate. Let's just see what that means. If I put this here and I simulate, it's not affected by physics. What do I mean by that? There is, the world here has a gravity. Okay, let's just check that out. Gravity, default gravity is minus 980 atmospheres, which is like the real world value. So if I go to the static mesh and then simulate physics, you see it falls to the ground and you can, it rolls around and it's responding to the world. So I want to enable that when I spawn it. So let's get back to our cube. And after I spawn the blueprint, I want to get the sphere, because now this return value gives me the blueprint so I can access everything inside. So I want the sphere, and then I want to set simulate physics to true. Well, let's see what that does. Ooh, okay. That's nice. Why so much? Okay. That was kind of weird. I hit the cube once, and then I am going to the cube sphere here. Maybe because I know why. I know why. Let's just put this here so all the tabs are in one window. And let's just look at the code here. As you can see, I don't really do any check to see if what hit the cube. I just say, okay, something hit you, and you're a grow cube. Just spawn a BP grow blueprint. And what happens is each time I spawn it once, but the ball hits the cube again and spawns again and spawns again and spawns again. Let's just watch that. Let's do play. Let's go inside our blueprint, and we can't debug it yet, but you'll see what I mean. So every time something hits the cube, it spawns a ball. It's actually kind of cool, but it's so not performant because I have so many actors here in the game, and the game is going to be really heavy with all these variables walking around. Let's just all these objects. So let's just stop and get back to our block, and I want to see only if only if this actor is a third-person character, then you can go ahead and spawn whatever I asked here. Okay, okay. I would like to. You noticed that when it spawns, it doesn't move, and that's because it just appears there, but there's nothing pushing it to fall to the ground. I mean, there is no force or any type of there is no force that moving it. It's just when it spawns, doesn't mean somebody pushed it there. So we need to add some kind of force or impulse. So since we enabled physics, we can use these types of forces. So let's just add impulse, but no, on the sphere. So add impulse. Let me just explain what's going on. If I just click anywhere here, I'm inside the BP block blueprint, right? So if I do right click and write add impulse, it asks me, okay, what do you want to add impulse on? And like the only type of component that you can add impulse to is the static mesh, because we're inside the BP block blueprint. There's only one component which physics can be applied on, and it's add impulse, and it's the cube. But I want to do it on the sphere, so I need to grab a line here from the sphere variable component and write add impulse. And you can do that. You can add physics only if it's simulating physics. So I can do this only after I set simulate physics. And then let's just put some values so it falls down. I don't know if this is enough, but we will see. No, not enough. Let's put like 500 maybe. And the Z, let's push it upwards with like 1,000. Let's see what happens now. Okay, it's too slow. So 1000, yeah. And this is also going to be 1000. Boom. More. 1500. Let's do 1500. And let's see. Okay, 2000. I needed it to fall faster. Okay, great, fine. Now we can just push it around. We have a soccer game. Yay. Okay, goodbye. All right. Let's get back to let's change the material on the sphere now to make it like a glowing material. Yeah, okay, so let's start with that. Okay, guys and gals, let's create our material for the power-up. So I have a materials folder. Right click, create new material. I'm going to call it glow power-up MTL. And right now it's empty, of course. Sorry. Now, first thing I'm going to use here is basically the only value I'm going to connect everything here to is the emissive color. Let's just see that. Let's create a color to make it green, and just connect it here. And as you can see, we just have a green color, but we want to make this emissive, so we don't need to use the base color if we're making the material emissive. We're using the emissive color. So let's connect it here, and as you can see, sorry, it's kind of emissive, but it's not that strong. So in order to make it more powerful, I need to multiply this value with another value. Okay, so let's create I'm clicking M and then the left button on my mouse. I'm going to multiply this. Basically, the multiply node takes one value, multiplies it by another value. So let's just connect it here. Right now I'm multiplying by 1, so there's really no change. But let's just put something higher, like 20. And as you can see, it's glowing. So I would like to be able to control this. So let's just make a value here instead of just hard-coded. I want to have a single value, meaning a scalar value. Okay, so if I press 1 and the left mouse button, I get a scalar value. If I press 2 and the left mouse button, I get a vector with 2 values. And if I press 3 and 4, respectively, I get a 3-point vector or a 3-point vector with alpha, which is like a 4-point vector. But this creates like a color and an alpha, so opacity. Just like a side note, I hope it's not confusing. We're just going to use one value here. Let's connect this, and let's create a right click and make this a parameter, which we're going to be able to change outside of this editor. I'm going to call this emissive strength. Right. Okay. Now, I would like to have the values of the color change, rotate between them, so it's like more interesting. in a way, because I think the actual power-up in the Super Mario game is like glowing and changing colors. I'm not too sure, but I want to make it like that. So in order to do that, I'm going to create 3 values that we're going to change between them. So let's start with green. Oops. Copy paste. And what? Let's just make 2 more. It's going to be red and blue. Okay. Now I need to connect 3 of these values here and to change between them. So I'm going to use a node called the Sine node, which is like a sinus wave, right? And let's just see what it does. I'm going to use another new node called the Panner node. Basically, moves from one value to another in a certain speed. What I mean by that, let's see. Let's just do speed of 1. And right click, start previewing node. Wait, stop. Let's connect it here. Let's preview this node. Okay, so as you can see, it's moving on the 0 coordinate. Let's change this to 1. 5. Okay, this is okay. 0 is fine. Now I want to take the values that are changing here and I want these colors. So what I need to do is create a linear interpolation node, which is a Lerp, short for Lerp. And I am going to Lerp colors, 3 colors. What does a Lerp node do? Let's just watch it here. I have 3 values that are connected to the Lerp node. Oops. 3 values, and we have an alpha. Let's connect a number here. Alpha is the number between 0 and 1. So let's just preview this. If it's 0, it gives me the first value, which is A, which is green. If it's 0.5, I'm going to get the red, which is the middle. And if it's 1, I'm going to get the blue. And I want to be able to change these values dynamically. So I'm going to use the Sine. Okay, we're previewing it. And as you can see, we're moving between these 3 values. And now I would like to connect this to the color of the emissive and make this like 20. And then stop previewing. Let's make it, let's change the values here. So how long the wavelength is. So what I mean by that is, look at this. If this is a sine wave, okay, the period is the length of the wave. So this is period 1. And this is like period 2. It's bigger. Okay, let's see it. takes longer. It's 5. Works. And let's make this faster, like 3. Okay. I would like this to be more dark, a darker red. Okay. Now, the sinus goes from 0 to 1, 0 to -1. And there's really there is no good reason to put -1 in the alpha, because alpha goes from 0 to 1. So let's just clamp this. Clamp meaning take whatever values are here and what it actually says, like clamp, close them down to from 0 to 1. And let's see what happens like that. Basically the same. Let's do it from -1. Right. Now let's get back to our power up. Blueprints. Power-ups. Okay. Let's assign this material. Oh, actually, let's make a material instance out of it. So this material, right click, create material instance, so we can change it outside. And let's actually make these values also parameters, so we can change the color if we really want to. This is color 1, color 2, color 3. Save, apply, and as you can see, we can change these values here. Let's make this like this. This is going to be green. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's get back here and assign this material. So let's go to the material slot and look for glow pu mtl instance. Okay, nice. Now we want that whenever the character picks this up, it grows the scale of the character. So we need to basically pick this up. This is what we're going to do next. Why did I move this? It's to stay in the middle. Okay, so let's get into that. Okay, so let's get inside our blueprint, the grow blueprint, and we are going to delete all these default events. We don't need them. What we do need is the ability to hit a sphere and trigger some kind of event. So let's go to our sphere and go to our collision. And let's generate hit events. Let's see, we're blocking the pawn. So if the pawn, which is our basically the third person character, it derives from pawn also. So it's a kind of a pawn in the base class. So it's supposed to trigger the hit event. So let's go to our events here and look for on component hit. And let's just print to the screen if only if the third person character hits the ball, the sphere. Print. Let's just leave it at hello. Okay, so you see it's printing hello. Let's do it again. And you see the hello is printing. Okay, so we know we're hitting it. Great. The first thing I want to do when I hit the ball is scale the character, right? And we want to do it nicely and smoothly, linearly, not just from 0 to 1. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say the character hits the ball, and I just take the character blueprint and then just do set relative scale 3D of the skeletal mesh. So let's just, no, not rotation. Set relative scale 3D to be, so let's go back here. And if we stand on this component and look at its relative, this is the relative transform, the transform inside the blueprint, which is basically each of these components has a transform relative to each other and to where they are inside the blueprint. So this is the relative transform, and this is the world transform. Okay, let's get back here. Relative transform scale here is 1. So I want it to be 2, like double the size. So let's see it in action. And voila, it just magically jumped to 2. But I don't want it to look like that. I want it to go from small to big, but linearly, like smoothly, like with an animation, smoothly. So to do that, we are going to use what we normally use for creating animations this way, which is a timeline. So I'm going to create a new timeline. I'm going to call it a scale character. Play from start and update each time, update the scale. So now let's go inside the timeline and create a new track of type float, because we're going to change 2 float numbers. And let's make it 2 seconds long. Nope, what's going on here? Okay, create 2 keyframes, one in 0, value 0, and one in after 2 seconds, value is going to be 1. And I'll show, okay, I press these keys here so I can see this in my screen. And I want to make it smooth, so I'm going to select these 2 keyframes, right click, and make the curve auto. So now it's going to be linear. Not linear, I mean smoother. Linear is a straight line. Okay, let's get back here now. Let's just give this track a name. Right click, rename. Scale transition. Scale transition. It's fine. Okay, this value goes from 0 to 1. And I want to change the scale from 1 to 2. So I need to change two values, okay, over time. So I'm looking for the Lerp node, the linear interpolation, and I want to Lerp two vectors. I want to go from 1 to 2 over 2 seconds. So as you remember, as we saw in the material editor, the Lerp node there, it's the same type of Lerp here. Alpha is a number from 0 to 1. See, 0 to 1. And it changes two values. 0 is A, 1 is B. I want to go from 1 to 2, but I don't want this to be hard-coded. Let's just get, we know the relative transform, the relative scale is 1, so let's just get relative scale and connect this here. And 2 is fine, that's hard-coded, because we just want to make it double the size. Could basically multiply this by 2, but it's basically the same. And the value is connecting here. So each time this runs, we're moving from A to B over time. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, it's changed, but now I have an error. What is the error here? Access non-ready, trying to read third-person character. It's empty. Why? Why? Let's maybe do this once. Okay, so I'm going to change something here. Instead of just hitting the sphere, I'm going to add a collider here, so I can overlap it. I don't want to touch the sphere. Sphere works fine with the physics and everything. Changing its collision where it's kind of can ruin things here. Let me just make sure this is not good. Make it block all dynamic. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I know. Okay, so let's add a sphere collision and put this. Why is it changed? Okay. This is supposed to be in 0. Okay, thank you. And let's add on component begin overlap, and it's not happy because there's nothing connected here, and I removed the event here, so no, let's just connect this back, and now everything will be okay. So when I overlap this collision, I don't need this. Now let's see what happens. Let's also, after we finish, let's destroy our actor. So it just disappears from the level. Destroy actor when finished. Why am I doing it in the finished execution pin? Is because the update runs in a matter of 2 seconds. Each time this value changes, it's going to run. I don't want it can't destroy itself that many times, only once. So when it finishes, it can destroy. One, two, yeah. Okay. Let's do something else. I want it to disappear the minute I overlap it, so let's just do let's take the sphere and just do set visibility after the character. overlaps to nothing, so to like false, so we don't see it. Right, that's great. Now I would like to spawn some visual effects when I pick up this power up. So the minute I hit it, let's spawn system at location. And the system is going to be, so in the previous tutorials, I downloaded the pickup set, which is free. Let me just show you. Pickup, basic pickup VFX set. This is free, so you can just download it and use it. So let's see. We have a coin shower, coin burst, some kind of bursts. Let's do energy. Energy, yeah, because it's a power up. Makes sense. Okay. What location? Wait. Where am I spawning? Let's spawn wherever the character touches or overlaps. So just where the character is. So get actor location, and this is where I want to spawn the VFX. Why are you bad size? Why? Okay, great. Okay, let's see. I didn't see. Oh, yeah. No, I don't like it. It's not what I wanted. Let's change this to. I want kind of a burst. Ambient dust? No. No. Simple explosion? No. Let's just do coin burst. It's the one I used before. It's okay. It's not the best for this, but it's just for an example. Yay. All right, now I want that after like 3 seconds maybe, we get back to our original form. And that's going to be done here. So let me just explain what I did, because I already did that. Since we're destroying the actor, we can't use this again, because this actor is gone. So what I did is I created an event inside the character. Just like this. It's not. Okay, I created an event which I called rescale, which binds to an event to a timer. The timer after 3 seconds call this event. So when I call this event from grow power up. Yeah, I need to grow up. Let's get the player. Let's do a reroute. And another reroute. And drag this here so we can see. Let's call this event rescale. What I did is like this: add custom event. I called it rescale, so let's call it rescale 2. What it does is calls a set timer by event. So it calls this, and then we need to create some type of event to be called after a certain time. So after 3 seconds, we want to call this event. So let's do add custom event. Call this on rescale 2. And just print. Rescale 2 just happened. Right, let's put some type of green color and make this longer, like 22 seconds. And when we finish, before we destroy the actor, we're going to call rescale 2. So it's going to bind to that timer. And then destroy. So let's just see it in action. Let's put the player start here because I'm too lazy to walk here all the time. All right, so after 2 seconds, let's see, this rescale. Yes, rescale happened. Yeah, you see in green, the top left part of the screen. Okay, so I was able to call this, which creates a timer. After 2 seconds, we print. Now, what we want to do is, let's put this somewhere where we can see it nicely. I want to get back to my original scale. So we know how to do that. Let's just do the opposite way. So let's add a timeline. Rescale back to original size. And create a float track, which is going to be 2 seconds long. Starts from 0, but the value is going to be 1, sorry. Wait, what are you doing? 1. And when it's 2 seconds, I want it to be 0. Okay. And let's make this a smooth transition. And connect it to play from start. And let's call this track scale alpha. And now create a lerp from 2 vectors. Mesh get relative scale. Now I want to move from, it's supposed to be 2 right now, and I'm moving to 1. And oops. Set relative scale. And this is the scale. Let's see if this works. So it grows. Okay, not good. I know what's wrong. So this goes from, oops, yeah. So this goes from 1 to 0. So basically it goes from B to A, right? So A needs to be 1. Now let's test it. Okay. Great. Okay. So what did we do here? Let's just recap. We created another added another value for our enum, and now we made another path for this block to go, which is if it's a grow power up, and it's the third person character that hits it, spawn the grow blueprint, set simulate physics on the sphere so it falls down, add some impulse, and then in the power up, if I overlap with it and it's a character, spawn some kind of VFX, make it invisible, and scale the character. After you scale the character, register this event. So after 2 seconds, it goes back to its original size, and then destroy yourself for the cube. Okay, I hope this wasn't like too fast or too much information, or if there's something that you didn't understand, please let me know in the comments. I really want to get to improve the way I teach to make tutorials, and if you want any type of subject that I will cover, just please let me know and I'll be happy to create more videos. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.